Hello and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I'm bringing you my November wrap up, and as always I have done a vlog style wrap up. As soon as I finished a book I've told you about it, but I just wanted to share in my wrap up I was a little bit annoyed at the ending of one of the books, and this is why I like doing them vlog style, because you get my kind of raw reaction. But actually, now I've calmed down a little bit, I decided to up it to a 4-star from a 3, just because of the not liking the ending. I didn't think justified knocking off a whole other star. And I also have downgraded another, I think, that I said was going to be a 3-star, and I've downgraded it to a 2. But this month I read 9 books, and out of those 9 I've got one 1-star, one 2-star, one 3-star, 4 4-stars and 4 5-stars. So it has been a good quality month. So let me just try and, so heavy, aren't they? So these are all the books that I read this month, and I'm going to be putting After the End onto my swap group because I don't tend to keep hardbacks. I'm also going to be getting rid of I Invited Her In and How to Play Dead because they're not ones that I want to keep, but the rest of these are going to be going onto my kept shelves. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I cannot believe that since I started in June there's over 200 of you watching me now. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this wrap up, and I will speak to you next time. Good morning. I've been having a pretty rough day today with my chronic illness, so I took myself back off to bed and finished Holly Wainwright's How to Be Perfect. Now, I was sent this very kindly from Legend Press as part of their blog tour, which will have been up on my Instagram on the 23rd of November, I think. Yeah, 23rd of November. I really enjoyed this. I was expecting it to be more of a fluffy kind of romance, and it really wasn't. It is written from the perspective of several different characters, which I did find a little bit hard to keep track of at times, but it's very good in the way that it wasn't the same events from different people's perspectives. Little bits did intertwine, but mostly it worked really well. I've rated this a 4-star. The only thing that stopped me giving it a 5-star was that I found the ending all came together kind of too quick. It was like suddenly you found out these things and then it was over. I think it could have done with a bit more substance there, but I'll be looking out for Holly's first book, The Mummy Bloggers. Yeah, and I recommend that you read that if you like romance, but also yeah, I think anybody, as long as you like contemporary. There wasn't, although I would probably put it as a romance novel, it wasn't highly focused on the romance, so I really enjoyed that. So excuse my terrible wet hair, I've just got out of the bath, but I've just finished reading The Company of 8 by Harriet Whitehorn. This was kindly sent to me by Darkroom Tours, as the second book, The Conspiracy of Magic, is going to be in the blog tour on my Instagram pretty soon. And I loved this. This was a middle grade book, but I thought it was quite scary in places. But I haven't actually read a middle grade book since I was middle grade. Anyway, this follows Cass, and it is full of beautiful scenes. I mean, every chapter starts with a map, which is beautiful. And basically she goes on some adventures. One of the things that I absolutely love is on the island where she lives, they skate everywhere, and it was just written so magically. Like I say, it got a bit dark in places, and I've given this a 4-star, and I can't wait to start The Conspiracy of Magic. So it's been a few days since I was here. I've had a bit of a rough time, but we're not going to go into that. But I just wanted to share with you, I was in Cardiff last week at a conference, and during the time that I was there I read the whole of I Invited Her In. Now, I read it for a little bit on the train and then got a bit of a headache, so listened to an audiobook instead. I think I would have enjoyed this book more if it had been one that I'd read over a few nights, kind of a chapter a night after work or, you know, on holiday. But literally just reading it from start to finish, I got a little bit bored of it. I liked Adele Parks' writing style, so I'm looking forward to reading the other books that I have from her. But I kind of guessed everything that was going to happen. There were a few ends of chapters where they were like, oh, but I know so-and-so's secret. And I thought, yeah, I know the secret too, even though you haven't told it me yet. So I'm going to rate this one a 3-star. But yeah, like I say, I'm looking forward to reading more Adele Parks books. And also, I DNF'd a book while I was in Cardiff. And I feel really bad about this because this was kindly sent to me to review. But I just feel like the writer's not a very good writer, and that's The Southern Bells by Katie Simpkins. What can I say? The story didn't grip me, and then the way it was written, there was just not a part of me that wanted to keep picking this up. So I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna DNF this book. So I've just finished reading Claire McIntosh's After the End, and I have to give this book 5 stars. I don't want to tell you anything else about it other than it's quite a sad book. It's quite a hard read, but very worthwhile read. But like I say, I don't want to tell you any more because I really think that would spoil the reading experience. So I am in Schiphol Airport and I've just finished reading The Conspiracy of Magic. Can't tell you much about this one because it's a sequel, but it is even more magical than the first book. I'm giving this 5-star, and I really hope that there is going to be another book because I want to see what happens next. Actually, from the ending, I'm pretty sure there will be a 3rd book, and as soon as it is out for pre-order, I will be ordering it. So I have just finished reading Holly Bourne's The Places I've Cried in Public. I'm feeling a little bit raw actually. I cried quite a bit throughout this book, especially kind of the second half. It brought back, I'm rating it a 5-star. My last couple of Holly Bourne books, I wasn't quite sure. I loved her writing style, but the stories didn't quite fit for me somehow. But this, I mean, it was heartbreaking. I suggest you don't read this unless you're in a good place mentally, and I'm not sure if it was the right time for me to read it right now. But like I say, it brought up a lot of memories from kind of my time with my first boyfriend, and yeah, a lot of things that I think that I had repressed and didn't really want to think about. But it was beautifully written and there's a lot of messages of hope. There's so many lines in this that I just thought, wow. So yeah, 5 stars to Holly Bourne and The Places I've Cried in Public. So I'm just about to go to work and I've just finished reading Mine by Emily Merrill. And I just have to talk about it. Emily Merrill, for a debut novel, this is written brilliantly. But I'm going to put in a spoiler alert here, so if you're planning to read this, please just ignore the next few minutes. I was going to rate this a 4-star all the way through it. It doesn't help that I read this straight after Holly Bourne's Places You Cry in Public, because this is about physical abuse and mental abuse, and how she has this possessive boyfriend. However, right at the start she meets this author, Beckett, and they get chatting and there's a bit of a contention between him and her boyfriend, and she insists that they're just friends. And from that point I said to my husband, if at the end she falls in love with Beckett and they get together, I'm going to throw this at a window. It made me put it down to a 3-star in the end, because it could have been so powerful if after everything she was like, actually no, Beckett is still just my friend. Like, why can't a man and a woman just be friends without it turning into a romance? And for a book that I love so much, that ending just absolutely spoilt it for me. But like I say, absolutely love the style of writing, and Emily Merrill's a fabulous author. Ugh, it just broke my heart a little bit to have that as the ending. So I'm going to rate that a 3 star. I will definitely look out for another Emily Merrill book, but as long as it's not a sequel to this, because yeah, sorry. This was sent to me to review, so you will see this on my Instagram as part of a blog tour. Hello. So I've made the kind of bad choices. So basically, when I'm reading books, I don't have a set TBR, but I have a pile down here of books that I've been sent either from readers first or publishers to review. And so I have picked up my 3rd book about abuse in a row, so I definitely need to move on to something Christmassy soon. But anyway, this book, this is How to Play Dead by Jacqueline Ward, and I was sent this from Readers First. If you're not on Readers First, every week you can read a first impression of a book that they've released, and by leaving your first impressions of it, you're in with a chance to win. You also collect points for every first impression you write, and when you get 2,000 points, you can just pick a book that you don't have to enter to win. You just are guaranteed to get it. But yeah, I've rated this 3 stars. Well, I think the story was good. This is about a lady called Ria, and Ria works for Safe Me. She's a manager of a refuge that helps women escape violent partners. But it turns out that somebody is watching her. Now, the story itself was brilliant. It just wasn't executed well. I've read a lot better books than this. There were loads of spelling mistakes, and it just didn't feel polished. It's not an arc, because obviously if I get an arc I can deal with that a little bit, but no, it's not an arc. And 3 stars. I don't think I'd recommend this one. I think there are plenty of other psychological thrillers that are much better. Other reviews have said about the twist. Now, I don't know whether it's because I've read quite a lot of psychological thrillers, but I could have told you really early on in this book how it was going to end, and it ended the way I thought it was going to. There was a lot of stuff that was just a bit too convenient. So yeah, 3 stars, and I wouldn't recommend that one. So it's 10:15 and I have just finished reading Our Song. I buddy read this with Emily from Novelle Novels. I'll link her channel above. And wow, I don't know if you can tell, but I have been sobbing at this book. I kind of guessed the ending from about 3/4 of the way in, but I still enjoyed it right up till the last minute. There was a few bits at the beginning that were quite slow. We were going to read 50 pages a day, and then in the past 2 days we've read 200 pages because neither of us could bear to put it down. So I'm going to rate this a 5 star, and I'm looking forward to reading more Danny Atkins books. So I have just finished reading Lexi Ree's Eternal Seas. The second book to this, Wild Sky, is going to be up on my Instagram on the 12th of December as part of a book tour. And I love this. I've got really into middle grade fantasy recently. I'm reading the other reviews on Goodreads. People are like, oh, this will be perfect for a 5 to 7-year-old. Well, I'm 29 and I bloody love this book. There's just enough danger, suspense, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started on Wild Sky now because I need to know what happens next.